dear participants, thank you very much for joining us again for the last session of this NanoDave 2021. Basically, earlier we planned it for quiz, feedback, and valedictory session, and we will be doing that also. As we were having limited number of slots, so we were not able to accommodate many speakers. We were having plenty of speakers more. We tried to accommodate them, but we couldn't do that. And there was one component which is missing till today. That was the lab demonstration or Silvaco TCAD demonstration or lab visit, which we should definitely have. So today, now in this session, we are going to have a very brief demonstration of one device. It is a random device, and how we can do the simulation on Silvaco TCAD software, and how we can find out its IV characteristics. So this is what is to be demonstrated in this session. This is being prepared by Sahil Garg. Sahil is basically doing PhD with me. He joined this PEC as a BTech student and passed out in 2017. Then after that, he joined MTech and completed MTech in 2019. And in 2019, June onwards, he is working with me under DST sponsored project on van der Waal heterostructures, nanodiodes, and he has also joined PhD. So Sahil is there. So Sahil, so over to you.
And you will be able to do some basic device simulations, electrical characterization related to a device or any kind of structure, whichever you want to design in Silvaco TCAD. So this is the basic structure which I have designed, and we will be using it today for writing the code. So this device consists of three regions. Region 1 is green, region 2 is orange, region 3 is red, and two electrodes. The gray part shows electrodes, anode and cathode. So left side is anode and right side is cathode. And in between we have trenches such that the region 2 connects region 1 and region 3 via bridge. So these are the various dimensions used, and basically Silvaco uses all the dimensions in micrometer. So you have to convert all your dimensions in micrometer, whichever whichever structure you design. So okay, I will be using CentOS 7. In this version, you have to open the deck build using a terminal. Silvaco is also available for Windows, in which you can directly go to the shader tools and then click on deck build. Deck build is basically the editor which is used for Silvaco, which is used for writing codes and simulating them. So in this, we will be opening deck build in a terminal /deck build and then click enter. So this is the basic environment of the editor, deck build, in which this is the space where you will be writing the code, and this is the space where we will be getting the log file and simulation output basically. So in this part, we will be starting to write the code. So for making this a short video, I have already written the code for the structure. So if you are also having any code, you can directly open it. So basically this code has a in file extension, training.in. So first I will be telling you about basic files which are used in Silvaco. There are three types of file: .in file, .str file, and .log file. So .in file is basically the editable file. This is the editor file, like .txt. So this is the main file in which they will be creating .str and .log file. .str file is is basically the structure file. So you can see here, this is a structure file. It comprises of information about the structure, how the structure of the device will look, and log file, you can see it here like .log. This file comprises of all the electrical information and calculated parameters after simulation. So we will be starting from the top. First we will start initialize atlas. So for that the command is go atlas. Then we will be initializing mesh. So by mesh I mean this is the complete entire structure. So meshing is done so that I can simulate each and every part individually, and the electron movement or carrier transport movement can be simulated. The equations can be solved for each individual part. So basically what I do is I divide this entire structure into fine points. You can see it here, like I have divided the entire structure into fine points. So this is called mesh. It can be uniform, it can be fine at some parts, like it is fine here, and it is coarse at some parts. So the area, active area, like this is my active area, the mesh should be fine here. Otherwise, you can keep a uniform fine mesh, but that will take a lot of time to simulate. That is the problem with that. So you can define mesh in such a way that it is the trade-off in between the speed of simulation and accuracy. More fine you go, the more accurate simulation. But if you go with the coarse mesh, the simulation will take less time, but reliability of the results and calculated values will also reduce. So you can see that for defining the mesh, we use the statement x.mesh for defining the mesh in x direction, which is this horizontal direction. And for defining y mesh, we go in vertical direction. Also, this statement mesh space.mlt equal to 1 and width is the initialization statement of the mesh, and it is compulsory. Width is not compulsory. By default, width is taken as 1 micrometer. But in order to compensate for bulk of the device, since we are doing 2D simulation here, we will be using a 0.4 micron width, non-simulated Z direction basically. So after defining the X mesh, the commands are very simple, like you have to write x.mesh for X mesh, and then LOC means location, from where to where, space means SPAC. What is the spacing? You can compare it with a ruler or a scale, which is a centimeter scale, which is having 10 divisions between 0 and 1 centimeter, like 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, similarly till 1 centimeter. So it means similar to that. Like between 0 and 1 micron, we have spacings of 0.1 micron. So this is the division. You can change it to increase, you can increase or decrease that in order to increase this, basically the spacing between the mesh and making the mesh more fine or less fine. And these regions are defined as per the structure. So all these locations are defined as per the structure: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The mesh has to be defined as per the structure. Y mesh is also having a similar structure, similar command. So you have to make X and Y both meshes. After the meshing is done, then we come to region. We have to define the regions. Like in this, you can see that the regions are defined. Region 1 is from 0 micron till 5 micron. So X minimum is 0 and X maximum is 5. Y minimum is 0 and Y maximum is 11. and the material is specified to the gas, you can find all the materials which are used in Silvaco in this appendix, Atlas materials. It is appendix B, where all the materials are given with their properties which can be used. So you can see this manual here. So regions can be defined easily. We have to just define the coordinates of the region from where it is starting and from where it is till where it is going, and the material can be specified. For InGas, X dot composition is also specified. For gallium arsenide, it is not required. Similarly, this white color portion in between is the trenches. So the trenches which comprises of air is also defined. So you can see here that this region is comprising of air and it is also defined in this. So after defining the regions, we move on to electrodes. So there are two electrodes, and we similar to the regions on similar lines, we are defining electrodes here also. Then comes doping. So in doping, there are two options: whether we can go for a uniform doping or we can go for basically a P-type, basically a Gaussian type of profile. So CONC means concentration, and P-type means the doping type, and in which region we want to dope this type of doping. So it is done in region 1. Similarly, we can do doping. Then Silvaco gives us option to define different materials also. Like you can define your own material properties. For example, by default property of InGas in Silvaco, the carrier mobility is 8,000 centimeters square per volt second. But as per my experimental results, I have received the value of 10,000 centimeters square per volt second. So I have used it as 10 centimeters square per volt second. We can define other various properties also, like saturation velocities, electron band gap, carrier lifetimes, etc. So after defining specific material properties which we want to modify, and we will be moving on to models. This is a very specific part, and these models need to be calibrated as per the experimental results. So if you get some experimental results, you need to calibrate your simulation models according to that, so that your simulations can be reliable. So SRH model is used, FLD model is used. SRH means Shockley Reed Hall recombination model. FLD model is the mobility model which is used here. We can define the temperature here at 300 Kelvin, with the temperature is in Kelvin. Print command is used so that we get all the information about the equations here, which the Silvaco is solving in this log section. After defining the models, we will be moving on to, we will define some contacts. I have defined simple ohmic contacts. We can define Schottky contacts also, and we can define growth function here also. Like if you write neutral, it will be ohmic contact. If you write Schottky, it will be a Schottky contact. We need to define growth function for that also. And we can also define here contact resistance, capacitance, and other parasitics related to it. Once we are done with the structure part, then we will be saving it in order to see how we have designed a structure. Hash or pound symbol is used for comment. We can comment any line. So it turns out to be green whenever we comment any line. So when we write quit command, the simulator quits here and it will not run further. So let's see, we will run the simulation till here and let's see if whether we are getting the same structure which we desire or not. So you can see here that we are getting almost same structure which I have drawn here. So this white region is the trenches. Here is the legend showing the different materials which we have used. This is the conductor. By right clicking on this graph, you can go to various properties. You can see the mesh which you have designed. You can see your electrodes. You can see that left is anode and right is cathode. You can define it here also. So once we are done with the structure and we are satisfied whatever structure we have designed is correct, then we can move on to simulation or electrical characterization part. Interface statement is used in order to compensate for any defects or fixed charges which are present. So this is basically in order to calibrate your simulations so that they match experimental results. You can consider the effect of other bulk defects through this fixed charges statement. The units of this is 2E12 per centimeter square, while the doping which we used was per centimeter cube. The doping here is in per centimeter cube, while the surface charge or fixed charges are per centimeter square. We can also call it sheet charge density. So output statement is nothing but whatever things we also need to get in the output, whatever things we require, like conduction band, we want to see the conduction band. So for that the command is con.band. For valence band, val.band, electron velocity, electric field, electron temperature, noise, charges, whatever things we need to calculate, we can write in output. So the method statement basically comprises of three methods. These are basically iterative solutions, iterative methods in order to solve the equations which we have defined in the models. Like SRH and FLD mode will be having a set of equations which will be solved in an iterative manner. So method defines that iterative manner in which those equations will be solved. IT limit is the iteration limit, max trap is the further trapping limit in each iteration. Like in 80 iterations, each iteration will have 20 further more iterations. So overall there will be 1600 iterations, and carriers are also defined. If you need to define a single carrier, you will be writing carriers equal to 1. Since I have both kind of carriers, I am using two carriers here. Now next, after defining the method statement, we will be moving to solve statements. So we will initialize solve init. This is the initialization statement for solve. And then we will be applying any voltages, any kind of voltages you can apply after that, after initializing solve. So I have grounded, I have connected cathode to ground, and I will be sweeping the voltage across anode in order to get the IV characteristics. But before that, we need to create a log file also in which all the data will be saved. So here in this command log space outtake, I am saving the log file. I am creating the log file in which the simulation data will be saved in this file. So all the data, all the calculations which will be done here will be saved in this file, all the numerical data. So the solve statement basically comprises of name and on which electrode you want to apply any voltage, and V node means the initial voltage, V step means the step in which the voltage will be increased, and V final will be the final voltage till where you want to go. So basically what the statement is doing is sweeping the voltage at anode from -5 to 5 volts with a step size of 1 volt. You can decrease this step size to 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.5 volts based on your requirement, and it will automatically increase the simulation time also. So if you want to get quick results just to see how your device is performing, you can increase the step size and just see a rough graph. And for further, for like if you want to go to research, if you want to give your simulations in research paper or something like that, you can do fine simulations after validating the concept that our results are coming right. So after all this electrical analysis, we will be finally saving the structure again. So the structure should be saved at last. The practice you should adopt, because all the electrical parameters and effect of electrons and movement will be captured in the structure file if you save it at the last. If you save it initially, then all these things won't be captured. So at the last, you will be writing the quit command. So the code is done with this. Like the per section comprised of the structure file. How we defined the structure file. Once we were satisfied with the structure file, we moved on to the solution part. For solution part, we defined method and the output statement, the solve statement. These are the basic statements which were defined in the solution part. So let's see, we will be running the simulation from here. I will press run and the simulation will take some time to run. Let's see. So you can see all the information is we are getting here. Whatever models we have used, what step currently it is at. So it is currently at -5 volt. I have used the Newton method, so here N is written for the solution. If you define a very fine mesh, it will take more time. Some simulations may take up to a week or a day or 2 days to get some solution. So while defining the mesh, you need to be very careful, or you can always go back and change the mesh. So the simulation will be taking around about 6 to 10 minutes to get the solution. Let's see. So you can see here the solution is having some convergence problem, so it is automatically reducing the step. Currently it is doing for -5 volts, so it has automatically cut off the step by reducing it. Till the time it is not getting any solution. If it gets a solution, it will go back to again +5 volts. Sorry, -5 volts. So it has again reduced the step. The step is reduced to 4 times. 5 divide by 2 and then again divide by 2 and again divide by 2. This thing is defined by, this number is defined by Maxtrap. So now it has found a solution. So it has moved on to next step, -4 volts. For -5, it has found a solution. Here we are also getting the time for the each bias step. So here it is, we are also getting the time. So total time of simulation is like about 5 minutes. if you get convergence problem and you are not getting a solution, you can always increase this IT limit. This limit can be increased, even this max trap can be increased, so that the simulator tries to solve further and may get a solution. By default, the IT limit is set to 40 and max trap is set to 5. So you can increase that. If you get convergence problem, then the solver is not able to get a solution for your problem. In method, there are other methods also. Currently, I am using Newton. There is Gummel and block also. So block is another iterative method which combines both Newton and Gummel for solving the equations. You can even mention Newton and Gummel both also simultaneously. Like I can write method Newton space Gummel. So it will be finding solution from Newton and Gummel both. Currently, it is only using Newton method, which is very much feasible and will be getting a solution soon. So the simulation has been now completed. It took around 7.65 minutes for the simulation to be completed, and all the files have been written. Now in order to open the files, you can also right click on this file and plot it. So it will be automatically plotted. You can see it here, you can right click here. And if you want to see various positions of bands and everything, we can go here. Like you can click here, contours, go to define, go to contours, and here you will get all the parameters, whichever you want to see. Like if you want to see electron current density. So this will be the electron current density profile. You can also save this image if you want. You can go to save as. The image will be saved as PNG. You can save this image. We can see other parameters, other properties also. Like we can see valence band energy, potential recombination rate, conduction current density. So you can see that due to this channel, all the current conduction is going through this channel only. So we can make some kind of analysis from this. Also, now we will be also plotting the log file. Let's see how our IV characteristics have come. So right click on this and plot it. Go to display, right click display. Anode voltage is set correctly. We will go to anode current. So these are the IV characteristics which we are getting. So it is like a PN diode kind of thing which we are getting. We can make certain observations. We can export this file. We can export this data. If you want, you can export this data in multiple formats. Like you can click on export, go to Tonyplot user data, go to display only. You can right click. You can set your own name here, and you can click on OK. So the file will be exported. You can open this file in Excel or any software like Origin, data plotting software. Or you can save the image of this file also by doing save as, and you can save this image. So this image will also be saved. Okay, I hope you like this short tutorial. If you have any problems, you can write that in comments. Thank you.
So participants, if you are having any specific questions related to this Silvaco TCAD, you can write it down in Q&A section. See. Okay, thank you, Sahil. So actually, we prepared this video yesterday and planned yesterday to demonstrate this Silvaco TCAD. So right now we are not having access to Silvaco TCAD, and because the platform which we use for Silvaco is Linux, and right now we are working on Windows platform, and it is difficult to have access for that in this office. So we will be uploading this on our YouTube channel. And now going to the second part of this, you can say our concluding session. So I'm going to take you to the virtual tour of our upcoming clean room facility at PEC. So we started this work last year, and now we are almost in the final phase. So this clean room facility is basically we are having multiple labs which we are basically going to use for device fabrication. So starting from chemistry lab on the right hand side, you can see here chemistry lab, and then we are having material deposition lab, which will be housing various equipments for material deposition. And we will be having another lab for lithography, that is a class 1000 lab, where we will be having lithography tool, optical lithography. We are basically going to have mask aligner in this, and once we fabricate devices, we need to do characterization, so electrical as well as morphological characterization. So those facilities are going to be housed in this electrical characterization lab. So that will be the part of this clean room facility. So this is just a glimpse of various parts of the lab. So this left side, you can see this is the utility area, which is basically going to support our clean room facilities. So inside it, this is an electrical panel. Then we are having air compressor of 5T. Then this is the left side. You can see this is the AHU, which is basically we can say lifeline of our clean room. So this is going to provide you the air, desired air, and temperature, humidity control, etc. Everything is to be controlled from this AHU. So on top, you can see green arrow lines and red arrow lines. So green arrow lines basically are providing air and pumping it inside the clean room. And from clean room, the air is coming through the duct, and through red lines, it is going inside this AHU, and again it is getting processed under this AHU, and it will be going outside. So basically, if you see, this is a clean room setup is not only basically electronics thing. So here you have to use expertise of mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, etc. In addition to being a electronic engineer in order to do the fabrications. So all these things are required. So HAVC is being used extensively in management of the clean room facilities. So left side, you can see this is the gas cabinets where you will be putting your process gases, and there is another thing called a scrubber. This scrubber is basically having we use scrubber to mix toxic gases which are being released from the equipments, and they will be dissolved in the water, and the remaining is to be exhausted in the air. So at the roof, we are having this type of exhaustive setup from where we will be releasing the undesired gases into the atmosphere, which will be coming out of the water treatment. So this is the entrance lobby. Then these are the changing area rooms and air shower on the right hand side. So from here we are supposed to enter the lab. Then this left side is the passage lobby, which is basically connecting all the clean rooms, all the laboratories of the clean room. So right side is lab, which is basically for our electrical characterization. These are the equipments which have already arrived, and we are in the process of installing these equipments. So we are having RIP, CVD, sputter. Then this is chemistry room at the left side where we are having wet benches. So basically all the chemical processes we will be doing, cleaning, etching, etc. Wet etching, wet chemical etching, whatever process we want to do, developing, we will be doing in these hoods. And the right side is the pass box, which is basically being used to transfer the material between the clean room and one lab to another lab, or maybe outside to the clean room. So left side is shown the lithography room. So we are going to have this mask aligner. This has already arrived and under the installation process. So this is from AVM, and In addition to basically fabrication labs, we need to have some lab where you can design your devices so that you can go for fab lab. Instead of going directly to the fab lab, we should be ensured that our device design is perfectly fine. So the device designs are done on TCAD softwares like Silvaco TCAD, which we demonstrated, are basically installed on these high performance computing machines. So we call it Nano Electronic Research Lab. Then in addition to that, Silvaco, TCAD and Clean Room, we are having a fabrication facility for antenna as well as PCB. So this machine is from LPKF, which is a German product. Here we can make a prototype for flexible substrates as well as RF, RT-Duroid or epoxy we can use. So this facility also we are having. This is some characterization facility which we are having. So you can see we are having probe station and SMUs are lying right side, and at the left side we are having VNA, which is working up to 20 gigahertz frequencies. So these are some glimpses. So we are having collaboration with the various institutes like SCL. We are having jointly doing research and having guiding PhD students. So now going to the tour of the lab. So this is the lab which tour we have made. This is the entrance lobby which I showed to you. Right side we have planned one store to keep the things which are required for clean room. So front side is basically we enter the lab from this room. So this is the changing room. So there you can see the air shower. From that air shower you are supposed to go inside the laboratory. So right now we are entering from another door instead of air shower. So this is the corridor which I showed to you, and air shower is basically pumping air from all the directions so that whatever dust particles you are carrying with you can be removed in this area. And basically we try to control the dust particles in the clean room. That's why we call clean room, and they are being defined in different classes. So this yellow area which we are entering is lithography room. This is class 1000 area. So basically device, you can say patterning, mask aligner will be placed here. So we will be doing patterning of different contact devices depending upon our device designs. So this hood is basically for doing the spinning of photoresist, developing that photoresist, doing etching, etc. This is the material deposition room where we are having right now three systems. Um, Evaporator is there, RI is there, PCVD is there, and thermal CVD is also planned, and sputter system is also planned in this lab. So basically, this will be a complete lab for deposition of materials. And this lab adjacent to this material is a characterization lab. So we will be shifting all the characterization tools which I have just now showed you in this lab, and we are planning to have it for cryogenic temperature measurements also. So now in this corridor, if you go to the left side, then you will find this chemistry lab. This chemistry lab is basically for initial purposes, cleaning, etc. Whatever chemistry you want to do, you can do it here in two hoods. So we are having two hoods, separate two hoods. So that's it. So this is the clean room, and just to give you the brief idea about utility. So this utility area was made just adjacent to the clean room at the back side. So just have a look. This is the gas cabinets, and in front of that wall, just behind that, we are having clean room. So this is the AHU. So this basically project requires expertise from various fields like this designing of AHU, designing of clean room labs. So I thank Dr. Manish for helping me out in developing this clean room facility. So Dr. Manish helped me into Dr. Satyendra Sharma from IIT Mandi, who has also developed one clean room. He was also guiding us for this clean room facilities. So these are the cylinders which we will be using for different gases. This is the compressor. So this gas lining work is going on. This is the scrubber. So here gases will be exhausting and some gases from pumps will be fed in for our scrubbing purposes. So this is the panel. This is basically chiller which is required to cool down different equipments while processing. This is your electrical panel from where you are supplying electricity inside the clean room as well as to the AHU. This is the makeup air unit. So whenever you open the door of clean room, you are losing some air, processed air, what I can say. So that air is to be, you can say, makeup. So this makeup air unit will help you to do the makeup of that particular air. So these are the pumps supporting different equipments which were kept inside the lab. So this is just a brief, we can say, tour to the lab. As I said in the beginning that we planned this FDP in face-to-face mode. So we could have visited all these labs if we were be here, but due to this ongoing COVID pandemic, we were forced to do this FDP in online mode, but we managed to show you or to provide you some glimpse of our labs facilities which we are having. And we are also looking for collaborations if you are interested. And I will be providing all details, whatever we work on our YouTube channel. We have kept so many things. So with this, I finish for today. And now I request all of you to share your comments, feedbacks about the course. You can mute yourself and you can say whatever you feel about the course which we had, whatever content we had. Those things can be shared by you. And later on, after this session, we will be sharing you the link for quiz as well as for the feedback. So quiz, that is fine. We will be doing it, and whosoever has attended the course, we will try to provide the certificate to all those participants who were regular and have attended this course seriously. And in addition to that, you have to basically upload the feedback on AICT Atal portal also. That is mandatory requirement from Atal side. However, we are also supposed to collect feedback from you. So with this now, let's start this session. Manish sir, is it okay to start?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay, so participants can raise their hands or they can unmute themselves directly. So participants, you are welcome. Your comments are very much required. Yes, Payal, you are unmute. You can say something.
Well, very good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Sir, actually myself, pursuing PhD from Chandigarh University, I have attended 2 workshops from PEG. Initial was on the pressure sensors by CD Pilani. I guess that was in 2019. And then in
March.
2020, I have attended another workshop by Nanodev. Near around June, it was there. So both of them actually, sir, helped me a lot in continuing my work. Actually, I'm doing the gas sensors under Dr. Manish Deswal for LPG gas sensing. So my interest actually initiated through that CD Pilani workshop, that actually a sensor can exist with the tip of a needle, and through that I went towards this workshop is actually helpful me to me, sorry. And actually what I want to say that when your clean room availability will be there with us, so that we can assess the different equipments which are available over there in PEC.
Right. Right. So it will be available to the researchers in and around Chandigarh or maybe outside also. So we will be extending these services to the researchers of different institutions. So it will be definitely available to you. No issues in that.
Right, sir.
Any other comment? So Avasthi is writing good one in the comment box. You can write in comment box, or you can just raise your hands or unmute yourself. It will be good if you have what do we say, interactive feedback session. I think, sir, are you able to see some comments from Anuj Khan or Anupama? No, it was okay related to Silvapur.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bhaskar, okay, it was again. So, Anuj Kant is saying, in fact, do you have facilities for electron transportation measurement setup? So, electron transportation means what? Can you elaborate, Anuj Kant? You should speak. Then only we will give response to it. You are unmute. You can say.
Hello.
Yes, Anuj, we can hear you.
So I just want to ask, like, if, for example, like we want to do this low temperature measurement of electron mobility and or in like in 2D materials, like in graphene and stuff like that. So do you have that kind of setup? Like,
We have set up for room temperature measurement, but for cryogenic, we are under process. Yeah. We don't have right now cryogenic setups, but at room temperature we can do that.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Participants, no questions. Okay, Manish sir.
Sir, okay, no issue. Then we can close it up. There's a question I think on popping up, sir.
This is from Shri Lakshmi, and she's saying messages. Thank you, coordinators, for organizing such an informative FTP. So, thank you all participants for being the part of this FTP and giving your feedbacks. I will be circulating a link for quiz as well as feedback in our WhatsApp group. So you are supposed to enter feedback and complete the quiz by today 7 o'clock. So that is the time I'm going to give you. 7 o'clock is means you are having more than you can say 4 hours to finish your quiz, and questions will be 40 objective types. So they will be basically we can say they are from first session to the last session. So I hope that should not be a problem. And another comment is also there, sir. Dr. Madhu is saying that well organized, sir. You manage time really well. Wish you best for new lab. It looks of world class. Please get good characterization tools also. Sure, sir. We are working in order to have good facilities, but being restrictions from government organizations, we are working with that and trying to find more fundings from different agencies. So next is feedback by Anil Ludhi. I would like to thank PEC and coordinator Dr. Arun Singh. Well organized workshop. I have really learned a lot from esteemed speaker. Thanks from IIT Jodhpur. So thank you, Anil, for your encouraging words, and look forward to have your visit to PEC. And maybe we will be also visiting IIT Jodhpur. At that time, we will be meeting you. Another comment is from Bala Sahib, and it is very nice sessions and activity. Thank you, sir. Sir, your words, sir. Manish, sir.
Thank you, sir. And really, I would appreciate that in a short period of time, you have created such a wonderful facility in the Tri-City. And congratulations for your all efforts, sir. And we look forward to have more equipment and test equipment and process equipment to be populated in this one.
Right,
So
sir.
that we have a close hands together, and everybody, academia sessions and some prototyping can really be feel by the students and the researchers while utilizing your facilities, sir. Congratulations, sir, for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, participants, for attending. If you do have any questions related to any one of the lectures, still you have something in your mind, you can ask straight away right now.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Manish, sir, for sparing your valuable time for this workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And let me inform audience that Manish, sir, helped me to arrange many speakers this time also. And looking forward to your support in future also, sir. Thank you.
Always, sir, for you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.